Hey folks, today we're making a roasted banana bread. We start with a fairly ripe banana. The riper the better. These are as ripe as I had today, but we're going to roast them and that enhances the sweetness and flavor of them. So you don't have to have a super ripe one here, but it's better. And then we do 4 large bananas and we scatter about a tablespoon of brown sugar across those. And the sugar will just help enhance the sweetness of the bananas as they cook. We're going to roast them in the oven at 375 for 25 minutes. And they'll come out, they'll be soft, and we're just going to mash them down with a fork. And so we're just getting them all thoroughly mashed down here. Now we're coming in with some cinnamon, and we're just going to sprinkle a little bit of cinnamon across those bananas. This will enhance the flavor of the cinnamon and the bananas and the bread as a whole. Putting the cinnamon on a warm surface like that will kind of make it a little more aromatic and kind of make the cinnamon flavor pop a bit. We're going to mix it in the banana mixture here just a bit. Kind of smoothing out the mixture. Just kind of mash it up. Stir it a bit. And then we're going to let the mixture cool. Bring it to room temperature. You can do this by putting it in the freezer for a few minutes or refrigerator for a few minutes. And here it's got 5 ounces of butter. That's going in a medium saucepan over a medium heat for about 4 or 5 minutes. And we just kind of let it sit there. It's going to start bubbling and it'll eventually turn brown. You kind of want to let it get to a light brown stage. And that's going to enhance the, well, it's going to give a nuttiness and kind of a roasted flavor to the butter. You can easily make this a vegan or plant-based bread by using a plant-based butter here. And instead of melting and browning the butter, in the case of the plant-based version, you would just melt it down in the microwave a bit and use it that way. We've got regular butter here, and you can see it's turning brown, just the way we want it. And that's about done. We're going to take it off the heat and just kind of let it sit and cool down to room temperature. Now we're coming in with a 1.5 cups of regular AP flour, all-purpose flour, into a medium-sized bowl. We're going to add to that 1/4 teaspoon of fine sea salt and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. We're just going to stir that around, mix it around a bit. Then just kind of set that to the side. And we're coming with another bowl, a fairly large bowl here. And we've got our banana mixture, which is cooled down now. You don't want it cold, but in other words, you don't want it really cold. Cool is fine. Room temperature is about where you want it. And then just kind of break that apart. It'll kind of congel a bit. Just kind of mix it around, stir it around, kind of loosen it up again. And then we're going to come in and we're actually going to take some fresh nutmeg and kind of grate that right into the banana mixture. Just kind of grate some right across the top of the mixture there. Stir it around, and mix it in a bit. Then to that, we're going to come in with 1/2 cup of regular sugar. I use an organic sugar. And then we're going to add to that 1 tablespoon of flaxseed along with 3 tablespoons of water. That's an egg substitute. You could also add 1 egg there instead of the flaxseed water mix. And to that, we're adding 2 tablespoons of honey. And I just added the flaxseed water mixture there as an egg substitute. I didn't happen to have an egg at the moment. And that's a plant-based version too. If you skip the egg and use a plant-based butter. And here we're going in with the brown butter mixture. That's cooled now, and you just kind of scrape the brown off the bottom of the pan and get all the butter in there. Next, we put in a 1/4 teaspoon of almond extract. Now we're just going to whisk this around. This you want to combine pretty thoroughly. Just mix it around and whisk it fairly thoroughly. You want these ingredients pretty combined. We're going to add to that our flour mixture. And I'm going to stir this flour mixture around with a spatula or a wooden spoon. And you don't want to do that very intensely. You just kind of want to combine these ingredients gently and not very thoroughly. You don't want to work the gluten and the proteins in the flour. You'll make the bread tough that way. You want to keep it light and fluffy. So just stir this around gently to barely combine the ingredients. As you can see, there's still a little flour along the edges of the pan here, but we'll work some of that back in. And when this cooks, the flours will absorb the moisture. And so you don't need to worry about getting it crazy combined here. Just so it all just comes together. And then we're going to add to this 1 cup of fresh blueberries. And these we're just going to stir in gently. First we'll add 1/2 cup of roasted walnuts, and we roast the walnuts in the oven at 350 for about 8 to 9 minutes. The roasting really enhances the texture and gives them a nice crunchiness and takes off a little bit of the bitter note that they can have sometimes. It really enhances the flavor of the walnuts. I highly suggest you roast them ahead of time. And you let them cool a bit before you put them in like this. And then you just stir those, fold them together a little bit. And that's your batter. And we're just going to add that batter to a regular loaf pan. In the loaf pan, you can use a metal one or a glass one. It doesn't make any difference. We'll spray that down with a non-stick spray. You can also use a melted butter, and that actually kind of enhances the texture of the outer surface of the bread there. It gives it a little more crunch if you use butter, but for convenience, I use the non-stick spray here. And again, that works well. And we're just putting the batter in. Here, if you happen to like tasting batter, I would highly suggest it right here. This is really good. But you just kind of put it in the loaf pan, kind of even out the top surface there, spread it around. You're not going to have a loose, runny batter. It's more like a loose style chocolate chip cookie batter or something. It's fairly stout. So you kind of want to work it around, level it off, work it into the nooks and crannies of the pan there and level it off. Now it's ready. We're just about ready to go in the oven here. But first we're going to dust the top of this with a little bit of, I'll come in and dust the top of that bread with a little bit more cinnamon. As you can probably tell, I like cinnamon a lot. But it doesn't give it an overpoweringly cinnamon profile either. It just enhances the bread. Put as much as you want or as little as you want. And then I'll go in with a little more fresh nutmeg on top of that. And there you have the bread just out of the oven. And you can let it cool at this point. I'd suggest letting it cool for about 30 minutes before you turn it upside down and pop it out of the pan. Otherwise it could fall apart on you. You want to let it cool and set a bit. and then pop it out of the pan. And I'll put together this little citrus glaze, which happens to be half a cup of powdered sugar, one half lemon juice, the juice of one half of a lemon, and the zest of one half of a lemon, and 1 tablespoon of milk. Just kind of whisk those together, and then let the bread cool and top it with some of that citrus glaze. And it is phenomenal. Let me know what you think, and thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. And if you like the video, please push the like button. Thank you very much, and enjoy the bread.